Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias. I wanted to take a quick moment to just make a quick video talking about my Nemesis, because in case you have not, actually no, it's not even in case you haven't seen, no one has seen this because I haven't posted about it. My Nemesis looks a little different. It looks very different actually. You might notice that the blade is almost completely different, and this is for a few reasons which I will go over in this video, but I also wanted to talk about the power of a good tune, at least for me personally, because the way that this thing has changed since I got it back has been very, very interesting. Now, my history with the Nemesis has been not exactly complicated, but a little bit, because it was one of my favorite balisongs coming out of the first Blade show that I attended in 2022. It was my first titanium trainer that I really got to spend any significant time with. It was definitely the first one that I've owned, and it was one that I really enjoyed for a while, but eventually lost its spark on me. In no small part due to the fact that the tune was just not great. Now, I did send it off to Solaire Flare to get it modded. What he did was the anodization that you see and the old blade, which was acid washed. And he also fixed up the tune a little bit, but it never really got to the point where it felt like a really solid tune. Come to find out, NRB had found a problem with the development, which made, I believe, the channel was wider than it should have been or something like that, which made the tuning much more difficult than it should have been. And he offered to fix it for me quite a while ago at this point. I want to say at the beginning of this year. And I told him no, because I think it's no secret that I've been considering selling the Nemesis for so long, because while it used to be such a fun balisong to me and something that fit my preferences almost perfectly, it didn't really anymore. Fast forward to like maybe a month ago at this point, and he reached out again saying, hey, did you want to fix it? We could get it fixed up for you, free of charge, of course, and that would be pretty cool. And I finally caved and I just said, sure, let's do it. Because at this point, the fact that I haven't sold it obviously shows that I'm attached to it in some way. So I can't really say that I'm just going to turn around and sell it. So why not get it fixed? So I send it off to him, and he comes back maybe like a week later and says, hey, there's a ton of washer damage on your blade. Do you want me to replace it for you? Again, free of charge. So I'm partially making this video to hugely shout out NRB for both wanting to fix it and fixing it, but also going the extra mile to fix it much more properly than he really needed to. So I now have a V3 Nemesis blade on these V2 handles, which is why it's no longer acid wash. It's now shiny. But it also fixes one of my biggest problems with the Nemesis, was how pinchy the tang cup was. And it's actually something that, not the tang cup, the Zen nipple. It was something that initially made me want to do it, because initially I was like, no, I like my acid wash blade. That's what I was thinking to myself. And then he mentioned, hey, the V3 has that, improved Zen nipple. It would probably be a little more comfortable for you. And I said, oh, wait, that's like one of my biggest complaints of the Nemesis V2. Let's do it. And to his massive credit, he retuned the thing to near perfect tolerances, especially for NRB. NRB's never really been known for his lack of play in his tunes. He always said that play doesn't matter, and to some extent I agree with him. But the tune is much, much better. It obviously looks worse than it is because these handles are so thin, but this new blade just makes the balisong feel so much better. One of my biggest problems with the Nemesis was the fact that it pinched the crap out of you with that Zen nipple, because it was just sharp and it was kind of big. And it just kind of sucked. Like throwing a scissor would get you pinched, and it just wasn't that fun. But also, I didn't realize how much the tune would affect things for me, because every time I picked this up over the past week that I got it back, it's just been fun again. Like, I've been really enjoying flipping it. It actually feels like something that's my preferences again. And while that very well could just be because my preferences have been changing over the past few months as I flip, longer and more blade bias balisongs, this thing remains short, thin-handled, and, a little bit handle biased, but I still really like it. And I think it really does come down to that tune. Sometimes, while I believe that tune isn't everything, sometimes it is really nice just to get some better tolerances on a balisong. because it can just make it feel tighter and more responsive and just overall better in general, at least to me. Not everyone is going to feel this way. I know some people who vastly feel that, you know, bad tolerances make a balisong feel better. But usually when I don't have the balisong moving back and forth the way that it's not supposed to, it's a pretty good experience. And the Nemesis has gone from something that, you know, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll sell it, maybe I'll get rid of it, to something that'll probably end up keeping around for a little longer, because now my two bigger complaints with it have been fixed. And it's really interesting. So I want to know what you guys think about tunes. Have you ever had a balisong that you got tuned that felt way better after you got it tuned? Maybe you liked it a lot more, or maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you prefer a balisong more as it loses its tune. And I also wanted to do a huge shout out to NRB for both fixing this thing for me and replacing the blade, you know, free of charge. He even gave me the old blade back, which is just super cool of him. Customer support that goes beyond what the maker really is required to do is something that I will always want to shout out. And huge shout out to NRB. The Nemesis might just stay in my collection for far longer than it would have before, so huge thank you to Garrett. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Later.